When we are moving towards the digital transformation, there can be different reasons like resource allocation. If you follow a realistic time, then you will allow for effective allocation of human. Means if you have set a timeline or a limit for each and every resource, like if employees may require training to use new system, so its time should be too short. Means that timelining that you are going to set to might be too short, then the training might be rushed. So if the time is short, the employees are not trained well. They didn't have the proper understanding of that new system. Then what will happen? Then they will not be that much productive, or there can be different problems when they try to use that new system. So that's why time is very important. If you allocate the proper time, not too short, not too long, but the time that is needed to train the employees, then they will adopt that system well, and the results and the outcomes that we are expecting from them will be good. Then the quality assurance. Why time is important? So we know that when we are moving towards digital transformation, it involves different implementation of complex systems. It can be a cloud computing, it can be a artificial intelligence based any system, it can be a enterprise resource planning software, it can be multiple systems. So if you give that much time for the development, for testing, for troubleshooting, like for example, you have integrated a new system in your organization. Without troubleshooting, without testing, you start using that system. Now, after some times, this system may have different bugs, or maybe there will be some exploited vulnerabilities in that. Due to that vulnerabilities, the attacker attacks and they steal the important information of your organization. So why all that happened? Because you use that system without doing the proper testing. And in the result of that, what happened? You face a lot of errors in that. So that's why quality assurance is very important. Resource allocation is very important. And most importantly, that's why the time scale is important. The time to train the employees, whether you're allocating different resources, the quality assurance. If in the matter of quality assurance, time is also important here because you need to test that system, you need to troubleshoot that system. If you don't do that, then as a result of that, there can be different vulnerabilities or errors. Then stakeholder management. For managing the stakeholders, we also need to manage the time. Like if a company needs to adopt a new customer relationship management system. Now, it's a new system. Now the sales team may need time to adjust their workflow with that. So if you set unrealistic time scales, means you might set that in this time scale, we will answer all the questions to the customers. We will provide solutions to their problems in that specific time. Like you might write on your chatbot, we are available 24/7. Within 30 minutes or 10 minutes, we will reply to your question like that. So that is an unrealistic time scale if you are using a new CRM. But if you are used to of that system, then you know that I know how to handle this system. I can answer their question within this time span. So that's why if you are dealing with a new system, then you need to set a realistic time scale because you don't know how much time you need to adjust your workflow with that. Then risk management. Now, digital transformation in risk management, time scale is also important. Like if it's a data breach or if it is a compatibility issue. Then to identify any risk, now if we take a common example here, for example, you haven't tested your new system and you start using them. And after some time, due to some vulnerabilities, attacker attacks. Now there is a risk or something bad has already happened. So you need time to see where the problem is, which server should be isolated. So to do that, you need a specific amount of time. So here in risk management, like whether it is a data breach or something else, you need time. You need a proper timing. Like in this amount of time, I will analyze that issue. In this amount of time, I will isolate this server. A realistic time you also need here. Then in cost control, it is very important. If you are using an unrealistic timeline, it what will happen? It will lead to overtime work. Means, for example, if you say to your stakeholders or your client that within 5 days we will deliver your application. Now you have given them an unrealistic timeline. You also know that this is not going to happen. But if you have to uh, complete your commitment, then you need your employees to work overnight. So what will happen? It will lead overloaded work on their shoulders, and they need to work overtime. They will get tired, and something things can happen. Moreover, the shipping cost for the hardware can be there can be other unexpected expenses like you have to pay to your employees for their overtime work. So if you have a realistic schedule that within 5 months or 2 months or 3 months, we will provide you your application, then such kind of issues will never happen. So that's why in cost control, we also need to manage our time. Our realistic timeline is also important here. So that's why we go with that. Now, if we take an example here, let's suppose we have to implement our enterprise resource planning system. We have multiple times discussed what is ERP, like in larger organizations, for planning their resources, when and how which resource should be allocated, where we have to allocate that resource, we use this system. Like, for example, it is a mid-sized manufacturing company that are deciding to implement a ERP to improve their operational efficiency. Now, the project team initially had planned to complete their project in 6 months. Now, they have set a time limit that within 6 months we will implement our new ERP. So, but they have underestimated the complexity of the process. Means they haven't checked out how much time really need for them. They just give a short deadline that within 6 months we are going to complete that. Now, there can be different challenges that can be faced with that unrealistic time, like training. Now, you have implemented a new system. You need to train that employees. Now, the different employees are rushed towards the training session. The training time is very short because within 6 months you have to complete each and everything. So what will happen? It will lead to the poor understanding because these sessions are too short. They you aren't explain the things in detail to them, and what happened at the end? It leads to the poor understanding. There can be the resistance in the system. So that is the first issue or the challenge that can occur due to that poor planning of time. Then there can be different integration issues. Like you have to integrate multiple third-party applications with your ERP. So in integration, there can be different issues when we are going to use some third-party application. There are APIs because we haven't tested them through. So there can be different errors in operations. Then the employees burnout. Now, I have told you that you have set a specific timeline for 6 months. Now, why the employees are going to burn out? Because they have to work overtime. They are overloaded with work. There can be dissatisfaction, irritation because of that. work, or another problem or challenge that they have to face is the budget overrun. Means due to that specific or fixed timeline of 6 months, there can be additional costs. There can be delays due to repeated corrections. There can be the cost for resources. Now the time is short. You have to use multiple resources. So that can take a lot of time. So these are the challenges that can be occurred when we are going to work with a unrealistic timeline. So what can be a good revised approach for realistic timeline? So how you can do that? Instead of setting your own timeline, you must consult with your experts. Means your company should extend that timeline. Means you have set it in the initial phase that the time will be 6 months. But after revising your approach and reviewing the challenges that might you will be faced, what you will do, you will revise your timeline with a realistic approach. But this time, you will discuss that with some expert. And according to that expert might suggest that you must extend your time to 12 months. This is how you can do the testing, you can set your risk planning, and this way your system will roll out and it will not disturb other operations. Now, what will be the outcome if you revise your approach with a realistic time? It will be a successful implementation of your ERP. The operational efficiency will be improved by 30%. You can gain employee acceptance almost 90%. So this is a difference between when we are going to set the unrealistic timeline and when we are going to work with the realistic time. So these are the things that going to happen. Now, if you have any question till now, let me know. So the next topic that we are going to discuss, if you have no questions, is what is the role of communication in managing how the staff perceive the change resulting from the digital transformation. Here, the main topic that we are going to discuss is how we have to understand how the risks are associated with digital transformation when we decided to move. So there can be different risks that we have to face. So the first thing that we are going to discuss here is how the communication plays an important role here. So we have multiple things here. It will create the awareness. If you have effective communication, you can manage your staff successfully. So they can adopt the changes that will bring their, if you do effective communication with them, like it will create awareness with them. Like we know that the employee need to understand that why the transformation is happening. In the previous lecture, we have discussed that when you announce that we are moving towards the from manual process to automated process, many employers have concerns about their job, whether they're going to lose their job. And the better way to resolve that issue is to communicate with them effectively. So, in this way, communication can create a awareness. Like, for example, if a company is planning to implement a AI-powered customer service tool to communicate the purpose, what will happen if the company implement the AI-powered customer service, it will enhance the customer responses. It will reduce the repetitive tasks. So in this way, if you create, the first thing that we discussed was it create awareness. Means employees need to understand why the transformation is happening. So it's your duty to tell them that, for example, if your company is planning to implement AI-powered customer service tools, to communicate with the customers. So you have to explain that why you are doing so. You can explain in this way that by using this AI customer service tool, we can enhance the customer response time. It will reduce your workload. Now, the second thing is it will build the trust and transparency. Means during you are migrating your data from your local service to your cloud service. So you have to provide the regular updates on data security. You have to ensure the employees that the sensitive data is going to be protected. So this is how you can build your trust with your employees. You can encourage your employees involvement. Like if it is a retail chain who wants to upgrade its inventory system. So you can encourage them to share their feedback for further improvement. Like what further improvement we can do here, how we can implement more things here. You can provide them the clarity and direction. Like after deploying a new customer relationship management system, a company can create a series of training emails. Like if you want to provide them a clarity that how you are going to use that system, you want to provide them a direction, you have to guide the employees how to use that system effectively. You can motivate and align your staff with their organization goal. So that's why the communication is important. Now, in this, what other things are important? Like focus on the upskilling. Now, what is upskilling? Means during the digital transformation, you have to ensure that your employees are going to adopt these new technologies and process. You have to help them to reduce that skill gap. How you can do? You can provide them good and better training. If you train them well, if you provide them better training, then what will happen? They will have new skills. Then you will have no risk that after the new system, the employees will not comfortable with it. So that's why after implementing that system, you have to focus on their upskilling. The second thing that you have to do is to provide them the training that is needed. Now, in upskilling, you must have to train them. They need the new skills to operate the new system. How you can do? You can do a workshop for them. You can use e-learning modules for them. You can do a on-the-job training sessions for them. So that why the training is important before using that new system. It will help them to build the confidence. Like for example, if you have implemented a new system, maybe some AI enabled system that you are going to use in your organization. New employees or the old employees who are not, maybe your non-technical staff, don't know how to use that system. You provide them different training sessions. Now, what is the benefit of doing that? It will boost their confidence. Means that they will think that I can use the system. It will reduce the resistance to change. Means we have discussed various factors that multiple employees don't want to change in the previous lecture. So if you provide them better training, so there will be no resistance in changing. Like it will enhance your employees' engagement and morals. Why? Because they will feel value. Like you are providing them training, they in their mind they will think that they are very valuable. That's why our owners are providing us the training to use that system. It will improve the productivity. As I discussed earlier, that if the employees are not properly trained, there will be a loss in their productivity. But if you provide them the proper training, your productivity will be improved also because of that new system and also because the employees are used to of that new system. Another advantage can be that it reduces the dependency on external experts for your day-to-day operation. Like maybe you require some external experts for that operations, but now you have a full system for that. So it will also reduce this dependency if you train your own employee. Now, what are the risks that will be addressed if you provide them the training? Now, we know that whether if there is a new system, then there can be a skill gap. If there is a skill gap, then it will lead to the inefficiencies. There can be the resistance from the employee who feel that we are not prepared for that new system. They feel threatened by that new system. So if you provide them that training that is needed, then such kind of things will never happen. We discuss an example here. Like I discussed that a retail company wants to implement a AI-based inventory system. Now, the company wants to implement this inventory system that will keep track of the what are the items that are in stock, what are the items that are out of the stock. So, this system provides a training session for the store managers or the warehouse staff. Now, these sessions cover how to interpret the AI generated data, how to adjust the stock level based upon the predictive analytics. So, if you provide the training on these two things, so what will happen? Your inventory system becomes more efficient. Employees feel the confident while using that new system that they can do it. So, these things can happen if you provide them the better and good training.